evening and welcome to your Tuesday, November 5, 2024 edition of the Evening News. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Private sector calls for harsher penalties against corruption. Government working to beef up enforcement powers of Integrity Commission. 11-year-old remanded to JUVIE for fatally stabbing 13-year-old friend. Smart devices negatively impacting students' spelling ability, says education officer, and Americans vote in U.S. presidential elections. Now for the news in detail. An anti-corruption workshop was held today where the need for all government agencies and the private sector to work together to bring corrupt individuals to justice was highlighted. In our lead story tonight, Gerald Bryan reports that the private sector is even calling for harsher penalties against culpable persons.
The Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance on Tuesday held an anti-corruption workshop, highlighting the need for more government and private sector collaboration to tackle corruption. According to Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Minister GOVT, the government is working hard to build a new culture, one that will eradicate bribes. She further noted that the workshop, which saw representatives from both the private sector and government agencies attending, is a step in that direction.
What has to be developed consciously is a new culture that is not based on a view by some that you have to grease someone's hand to get something, but where the systems work transparently and fairly and people trust them to do so. We need to have a new culture where people feel that if they want a passport or they want to put in a tender for a contract, they don't have to grease anybody's palm, or as we, and that's what you want. And that's where we're going, and that's where we're striving to go, to build a new culture. And this requires, at all levels of the public service and the private sector, a zero tolerance for persons who are offering bribes or asking for bribes, or asking or soliciting what would be violation based on violations of the Procurement Act.
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Private Sector Commission's Economics and Finance Committee, Ramesh Dukku, expressed the organization's support for the government's anti-corruption efforts. According to Dukku, there is a lot the private sector is not happy about when it comes to the uneven enforcement of the law against companies. However, he acknowledged that for a bribe to occur, it requires at least two willing parties. That means both the government and private sector must work together to eliminate this.
It takes a private sector operative to corrupt a government official. And it takes a government official to want to be corrupted. And that's the difficult part. How do we manage that? How are we going to deal with that? How other countries have dealt with it, and in the private sector, our favorite piece of legislation exists in England. England has a massive anti-corruption legislation that nobody can get away from. Whether you're a government regulator, whether you're a, excuse me, whether you are a private sector operative, it's very difficult to get away with it. But over many years, that request, that lobby for the introduction of anti-corruption legislation in Guyana has not been successful.
Dukku highlighted the reality that it will take massive collaboration between public entities and the private sector to bring down corrupt individuals. He also called for the existing pieces of anti-corruption legislation to be combined and strengthened with harsh penalties.
If you look at our legal framework for corruption, it will take massive collaboration between several agencies to bring a corrupt person or an entity to justice. It's too much. It's almost impossible to do. There's the company, the registrar, there's the company's law, which is not very vague. It's very vague. We need to take all of these pieces of legislation and have an anti-corruption legislation in Guyana, which makes it easy for the police, for the regulators, and everybody else to take you to court and be successful. The penalties also has to be harsh so that we wouldn't even want to risk it.
Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
And Gerald Bryan joins us again to report that the government is looking to beef up the enforcement powers of the Integrity Commission, which was established to ensure that persons in public life maintain high standards of integrity in the performance of their public functions. Here's more.
During an anti-corruption workshop organized by her ministry, Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Minister Gail Teixeira spoke on the government's anti-corruption efforts from a legislative perspective. According to Teixeira, the PPPC government has previously passed a number of legislation in the anti-corruption fight. She explained that those legislation, such as the Integrity Commission Act, which ensures transparency in the financial lives of public officials, are being reviewed and strengthened.
And we look at the Integrity Commission Act, which people have felt they could disobey. That's changing. The screws, as they say, are tightening on people who refuse, who hold public office and refuse to declare and honestly declare their assets. So the Integrity Commission Act, which has been around for a long time, is now under review. We have a framework. We've been making steps forward and tightening up and improving the areas of accountability and transparency.
In an interview with the media afterwards, Teixeira noted that defining conflicts of interest and strengthening the reporting mechanism are among the areas being strengthened in the Integrity Commission Act. However, she admitted that more could be done on the enforcement side of the Integrity Commission Act. It is here that Teixeira expressed the need for the judiciary to accelerate its work.
I think there are weaknesses in what we have, and we have to work harder on that. But I think that in terms of investigation and moving with alacrity to investigation, those are areas we have to work more on, and also the judiciary. I don't want to have a big spiel of the judiciary, but things take too long. And so we have to have, it's a combination in the anti-corruption areas that we have to look at thorough investigations that are based on evidence and facts that can hold up in a court of law. If we don't have that continuum between the investigation and the court, then you're going to lose cases, or cases may never get there, or cases are thrown out because of lack of evidence. If it takes 5 years to deal with a case in court, nobody's going to take it seriously and say, well, you could be corrupt and get away with it, and you get bail. So you're on the road, you're fine.
The Integrity Commission was established to ensure that persons in public life maintain high standards of integrity in the performance of their public functions. This assists in the improvement of the standards of good governance, transparency, and accountability in government. The Commission had in August of this year published a long list of defaulters, which included big names such as opposition leader Aubrey Norton. Under the Act, persons can be fined or even face jail time for failing to make declarations of assets. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Austrian contracting company VAMED Engineering that is executing works on the $31.9 billion state-of-the-art Pediatric and Maternal Hospital in Goodverwachting, East Coast Demerara, has been called out by President Dr. Irfan Ali for its slow pace of works on the project. In this Luana McAllister report, we hear that the head of state has warned that liquidated damages will be applied for any delays on this initiative.
President Dr. Irfan Ali on Monday visited the construction site of the $31.9 billion state-of-the-art Pediatric and Maternal Hospital in Goodverwachting, East Coast Demerara. There, he was updated that while the superstructure has been completed, internal works such as plumbing, the installation of gas and electrical lines are yet to commence. In addition, the contractor, VAMED Engineering from Austria, is still procuring crucial pieces of equipment to execute works. Additionally, a subcontractor hired to execute certain aspects of the project is still in the process of mobilizing on the site. The Pediatric and Maternal Hospital will be a referral center for women and children. It will specialize in maternal, neonatal, and pediatric care with a huge imaging suite for services such as CT scans, X-rays, MRIs, scanning equipment, a modern laboratory, and surgical suites. The facility will also have 256 beds and high-quality equipment sourced from the United Kingdom. Highlighting the importance of the state-of-the-art facility, President Ali instructed VAMED Engineering to hire more subcontractors, work on various aspects of the project simultaneously, and implement a shift system to fast-track works throughout November and December.
This is a level 5. This is the highest standard that you get for pediatric care. So the construction and the design take into consideration the most modern equipment to match what the hospital is expected to deliver. You will definitely have to import some specialized skills in the first phase of management of the hospital. We've already started that, looking at areas that we'll need specialists to come into so that we can train our locals. Of course, this hospital and the other regional hospitals tell the story as to how rapidly you have to train our nurses and medical technicians and so on. But we are hoping that the contractor here also will pick up some pace. We are not satisfied with the pace at the moment, and we are not going to shift our deadline on the completion of this hospital.
During Monday's inspection, a representative of VAMED Engineering indicated that the final testing for the building will be completed by October 2025, but this plan was rejected by the Guyanese head of state.
October next year?
Yes, not
To just test the internal? That's not going to fly with us, I'm telling you. That is far beyond the project time, and I hope the consultant is making notes. Well, because we're going to be charging liquidated damages.
Of course, we discuss with the contractor every day.
We're not going to accept that. We can't accept this going to October. You have to work throughout December and January. So I'll visit back at the end of January to see where you are. But that is the only way. You have to work out with them a shift system to get it done by the end of January. Otherwise, it's going to completely disrupt the critical path, and that is the most important thing now. Because if that is not done, then nothing else can be done. If the testing is not done, you can't do anything to it.
The contract for the construction of this hospital was signed on June 8, 2022. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
A new midwife retraining dubbed the First Midwives Guyana project is expected to equip local healthcare professionals with the skills needed to improve the level of care being accessed by pregnant women, ultimately reducing Guyana's maternal and neonatal fatality rate. Trishelle Sobers has the story.
The First Midwives Guyana project, which will be administered by experts from the Canadian Network for International Surgery, is a joint venture being spearheaded by the governments of Guyana and Canada and is being powered by the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives. The Evening News understands that the project is set to transform midwifery education and practice, resulting in improved birth outcomes, decreased infant mortality, and shorter hospital stays, among others. During Tuesday's launch at the Ministry of Health's boardroom on Brickdam, Deputy Director of Health Sciences Education, Chadruti Prasad, disclosed that simulation exercises will be conducted in batches of 4s and 5s, fostering a more hands-on learning approach and catering for each student's needs and learning style.
The First for Midwives project will implement several key activities, strengthening both the hands-on skills and theoretical knowledge of midwifery and medic students. These include 3 basic areas that we would actually have the training in. The first would be collaborative training programs with our esteemed partners at the Canadian Network for International Surgery, where you'd have expert trainers who would facilitate structured sessions. The impact of this project will be profound and long-lasting. With enhanced skills and confidence, our midwives will be better prepared to provide high-quality care, leading to more positive health outcomes for both mothers and newborns. We expect this initiative to result in significant reduction in preventable complications during pregnancy and childbirth. Also, we expect a decrease in unnecessary medical intervention and an increase in satisfaction among women with their birthing experience.
The Deputy Director of Health Sciences Education added that several local midwives will benefit from administration training, which is geared towards promoting the sustainability of the program.
We'll also have a mentorship program which will have 25 experienced midwives who would be trained to guide our students and to nurture this program so that we would have sustainability and continuity after this grant would have been expired. We know that skilled midwives are essential for reducing maternal and infant mortality, also ensuring safe pregnancies and fostering the holistic well-being of mothers and babies. This initiative is just not about training. It's about investing in the health and future of communities across Guyana.
As of September 2024, Guyana recorded a 60% decrease in neonatal deaths when compared to the same period in 2023. This newscast understands that 28 babies died within an average of 28 days or more of their birth this year, while 68 babies died last year. Meanwhile, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation GPHC recorded its lowest maternal death record with 10 maternal deaths for 2023. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Coming up, Berbice rice farmer dies after tractor plunges into trench, and 11-year-old remanded to JUVIE for fatally stabbing 13-year-old friend. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
Guys, I think I'm in love! Wow!
Yeah, I was looking at you too.
What? What are you talking about? I'm in the tiles. Where did you get them?
Oh, Mima Decor, obviously the best tile store in Guyana. Come, let me take you there.
My kitchen, my bathroom, my floors. Mima Decor has everything. And the prices are great too.
So, y'all want to have a date now?
We can build on that.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. It is the civic duty and legal responsibility of all persons who meet the eligibility requirements to apply for registration. By doing so, you will be ensuring that you are issued a national identification card and be included in the official lists of electors for future elections, providing you meet all eligibility criteria. Persons could be prosecuted, fined, or even sent to prison for failing or refusing to apply for registration. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GCOM on 225-0277-9 or visit the website www.gcom.org.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil. A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. A 43-year-old rice farmer from Mibikori South, Blackbush Boulder, Berbice, yesterday afternoon lost his life after the tractor he was operating fell into a trench. Sunil Rampersad was operating an unregistered tractor along the 3-bridge access dam when the incident occurred at around 16 hours 40. Police said the man was in the process of making a turn near a wooden bridge when he lost control of the tractor, causing it to plunge into the trench. Rampersad had also fallen into the trench. He was eventually pulled out by public-spirited persons and taken to the Mibikori Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. Further investigations are ongoing. We now tell you that an 11-year-old boy has been remanded to a juvenile detention center after he was charged with manslaughter for killing his 13-year-old friend, Kareem Durant. The child was also ordered to undergo a psychological evaluation to determine his fitness for trial. The case, which was called before Magistrate Anat Singh at the Children's Court in Georgetown, will resume on November 11. The incident in question occurred on October 29 at Cummings Park E-Field, Sophia, Greater Georgetown. Police reports indicated that the 11-year-old and Durant are friends who resided in Sophia. At the time, the 11-year-old was sitting on a stack of PVC pipes outside of his home when Durant allegedly pushed him onto the ground. The boy got up from the ground and ran inside his home to inform his 16-year-old brother, who then confronted Durant to ask what had happened. This led to a tense argument, after which Durant left and returned with another youth who was armed with a pair of scissors. The youth then reportedly stabbed the 11-year-old's older brother in the back. Upon seeing this, the 11-year-old reportedly pulled out a knife from his waistband and delivered a fatal stab to Durant's chest. Durant managed to run a short distance before collapsing near his home. His older brother rushed him to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Eldorado Offshore, Noble Corporation, and Maternal Marine Institute on Monday opened applications for the Noble Marine Cadet program. Kelroy Williams reports that this initiative represents a shared commitment to equipping young Guyanese with the skills, experience, and mentorship needed to excel in Guyana's burgeoning energy sector.
Through the new Noble Marine Cadet program, aspiring deck cadets and engineering cadets are offered a transformative pathway to a career in the offshore industry. Speaking at the launching ceremony of the program on Monday was local content manager at Noble Corporation, Renata Khan. Khan explained to the audience that now is an opportune time for youths to get themselves involved in the oil and gas sector, as Guyana positioned itself to become a key player within the industry.
It is a fantastic time to be a youth in Guyana.
Yes.
It is a fantastic time to be where these young minds are in Guyana as we transform this great nation of ours into one that is pioneering and leading in the oil and gas industry.
Moreover, the local content manager explains that Guyana's maritime sector is currently underdeveloped, particularly in the area of oil and gas. However, she explained through investments made by Noble Corporation, Guyanese youths will now be able to smoothly transition into the sector.
We're not only offering 20 scholarships, which is a free ride for these 20 scholars that we're going to be onboarding in 2025. At the end of their course, they have job security. We recognize in Guyana our maritime industry is still a little bit young in the sense of oil and gas and those resources. And it's difficult when you graduate through this program or you finish your first year and then you now need to do your C term. It's difficult sometimes for these cadets to find placements on vessels to do their C term. So not only for the scholarship students, but any person graduating as of this year for their final year of C term, we will take them on our vessels and allow them to complete their entire C term to be able to graduate.
The 4-year program provides a unique blend of 18 months of classroom-based education and 18 months of offshore training, designed to ensure participants receive both theoretical, grounding, and practical, hands-on experience. To encourage applications from across Guyana, Eldorado Offshore, Noble, and Matpal will host community outreach sessions at various technical institutions, providing prospective applicants with comprehensive information about the program and assisting with the application process. Kelroy Williams, The Evening News.
Missing payment vouchers that were flagged in the Auditor General's 2019 report have been found over 4 years after the Audit Office inspected the Region 9 Sub-Treasury safe, with Accountant General Jennifer Chapman making it clear that an investigation of her own will be launched into the matter. Here are the details from Jarrell Bryan.
During a Public Accounts Committee PAC sitting on Monday, Region 9 Regional Executive Officer Carl Singh made a surprising disclosure. The Auditor General had reported in his 2019 report that 394 checks totaling $275 million were found during an inspection of the Sub-Treasury safe in January 2020. At the time, payment vouchers and related documents pertaining to 38 checks that totaled $1.7 million could not be found. According to Singh, however, those payment vouchers have now made a reappearance over 4 years after the audit office inspected the safe.
The documents were provided to the audit office. Mr. Chairman, during the inspection of the safe at Sub-Treasury in January, the audit office basically did a walkthrough and did not a thorough check, and that's the reason, Mr. Chairman. But subsequently, those vouchers were
The REO admitted that at the time of the inspection, the Sub-Treasury officers did not have the documents in their possession. The REO admitted that at the time of the inspection, the Sub-Treasury officers did not have the documents in their possession. On the further questioning from the PAC, Singh further admitted that the documents were only recovered 3 months ago.
Mr. Chairman, those vouchers were recovered at Sub-Treasury 3 months ago after all the payments were made.
Here, July 2024. Mr. Chair, I hope that what I'm hearing is not correct.
Meanwhile, Accountant General Jennifer Chapman professed to be as surprised as the other members of the PAC. It was agreed that the REO would send a list of those vouchers to her office to allow for her to do her own investigation into whether the checks and vouchers can be reconciled.
Based on the REO's response, REO, can you send me the list of vouchers, please, so that I can do my own investigation from this end? Here, those 38 vouchers. Are you hearing me?
REO? Yes, AG. I will do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will do. Because I'm just as confused as every other member of PAC right now.
When can you
with
make
your
that
response.
Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Driven by a national mandate, educational facilities countrywide have been embracing the use of technology in schools and learning environments. But on the other hand, the dependency on smart devices is having a negative impact on the spelling abilities of students. This point was raised by Education Officer with responsibility for literacy in Region 6. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael has the details.
President Dr. Irfan Ali has made clear his government's intention to integrate technology in the classroom, including the use of artificial intelligence. While acknowledging the numerous positives from embracing technology in school, Education Officer with responsibilities for literacy in Region 6, Simon Prophet, pointed out that there are pitfalls as well. One such is the impact it has on students' ability to spell. She made this point at a spelling bee competition in the region. The spelling bee competition involved grade 4 students and was held at the New Amsterdam Town Hall. It was a part of the town's celebratory activities for its 133rd anniversary. The first place went to All Saints Primary, with St. Aloysius Primary and Allen's Academy following in that order. The top student was Adrian Supal of All Saints, followed by Daniel Griffith of Allen's Academy and Jada Potter of Learners Academy.
I would say that it was very exciting to hear the children spell words that would have been perceived as being difficult. There are several words which were spelled that parents and teachers within the audience were squeezing, thinking that the words were too difficult for the children. However, those words were spelt by the learners with no difficulty at all.
However, Prophet expressed concern over the impact smart devices is having on their spelling ability. For example, she lamented that many students were using American spelling as opposed to British versions.
Abrupt. Abrupt. It means to end something suddenly. Abrupt. Try again. Abrupt. Sorry.
I realize that for the younger generation, and I'm thinking that it's because they use the tablet and these devices so often, that have the American spelling, they tend to give us the American spelling. So where the British spelling would have OUR, most of the words they were giving the OR, and then we had to remind them that we're using the British version, and then they would switch to the OUR. So I think that's one of the areas probably our teachers would need to work on, even parents, in helping the children to understand the difference between the two.
Meanwhile, she noted too that more emphasis needs to be placed on words with silent letters.
Compassion. Compassion. Correct.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
American voters are going to the polls to choose their next president. The first polls close at 18 hours today, but in some areas, polls are closing until 6 hours tomorrow. Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris and Republican Donald Trump, the former president, have been running neck and neck for weeks. Narrow victories could also mean recounts. In the key swing state of Pennsylvania, for example, a recount would be required if there is a half percentage point difference between the votes cast for the winner and loser. In 2020, the margin was just over 1.1 percentage points. Legal challenges are also possible. More than 100 pre-election lawsuits have already been filed by Republicans, including challenges to voter eligibility and voter roll management. Other scenarios that could cause delays include any election-related disorder, particularly at polling locations. In the 2020 election, U.S. TV networks did not declare Joe Biden the winner until 4 days after Election Day, when the result in Pennsylvania became clearer. In 2016, Trump was declared the winner a few hours after polls closed. In 2012, when Barack Obama secured a second term, his victory was projected before midnight the same evening of Election Day. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Wednesday, November 6, 2024 at 3 hours 45, then again at 19 hours 30 for a period of 1 hour. Meanwhile, the Barbie Bridge is scheduled to be closed to vehicular traffic at 6 hours 45 on Wednesday, November 6, 2024 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Let's now take a look at the local stock exchange market complements of GASI. Guyana Rifle Team retains West Indies short-range trophy and consistency key in biggest game of the series, says Hope. These stories and more coming up in this evening's Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Hi, I'm doing well from the MacCorp Agriculture Division. If you're looking for a reliable piece of equipment for farming, mining, forestry, the Case IH is it. Contact MacCorp or contact me personally on 615-2944.
MacCorp, let's do the work.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Types of transactions. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were last registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered could request that their photographs be retaken if the quality of the photographs on their ID cards is unacceptable. Collect their new ID cards if they have not done so as yet. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GCOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-02779, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gk.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
In today's tough driving conditions, every engine faces 3 powerful enemies: engine heat, pollutants, and frequent short trips. Each factor is a direct cause of engine sludge, a buildup of dirt that can block vital oilways. This triple threat demands triple protection. Castrol GTX's Triple Protect Power is engineered to fight these 3 main causes of engine sludge.